My silver-white hair is different from a family of black-haired people. She thought she would have to live in a family of crazy people, a small snowflake of class. Be trembling. But unexpectedly, she became a treasure that was loved by the whole family. Originally the most perfect heiress of the Snow Leopard clan. Yet she married into the rival Black Leopard clan. Despite her relatives' objections, she would rather sacrifice her life than give birth to Bao Den's child. The Snow Leopard owner looked at the child in his arms, who should have been his grandson, but there was not a single ray of love in his eyes. 7 years later, he had become a man. Later, the little girl grew up safely, but still could not awaken the Snow Leopard's power. The owner of the house also completely lost patience, ordered to search and lock the granddaughter in the attic. In a dark room, the little girl had to go through a difficult life every day. Covered in wounds, Teal was so desperate that she had to fight with rats for food. In it, the grandfather took out his anger on the little girl, grabbed her by the back of the neck and dragged her out. The little girl didn't know what it was, but she didn't know what it was. Too weak, almost unable to resist. With a loud bang, the pig was thrown hard onto the balcony. The door was immediately slammed shut. The little girl didn't understand why her grandfather treated her like that. Tiu could only cry, beg, and beat the house. She called for help but was met with silence. Time passed, and suddenly she heard the sound of the door creaking open. Who is the person who came? Her soul. Teo begged her to open the door, but the other party immediately cut off all relations and scolded her. Just because today is the day she takes her daughter, Rowan, dress shopping, she can't let. Disturbed. Rowan is TL's cousin, and is the only one. Has blue eyes. The symbol of the Snow Leopard. TL once dreamed. If only I had those blue eyes, I would probably be treated as gently. Tears silently fell from the little girl's eyes. She was so cold she had no choice but to beg me to open the door, but only received coldness from her feet. Deny. How ridiculous, the Snow Leopard is cold. After saying that, she turned around, closed the door and left. How long later, the heavy snow had buried that small body. In Teal's head, the laughter of Rowan and his grandfather still echoed, but her consciousness gradually faded, only hoping that in the next life she could also feel a little warmth and happiness. Suddenly, but God did not grant her wish. When she opened her eyes again, she was still in the attic. Clearly someone had saved her. Looking at the old wound on her hand, wasn't that the wound from when Rowan pushed her down the stairs a month ago? While still not understanding the situation, the girl realized that she had gone back to the past. But her body seemed to have changed a bit. She tried to find herself. Can emit electricity like a light bulb, but that doesn't matter anymore. This time, TL won't wait to die. She wants to change the fate of the handcuffed dead. Looking in the mirror, golden eyes shining brightly in the snow-white face. Maybe she can find a way out in the Black Panther clan. Now was a good time to escape. In the mansion, everyone was busy preparing to compete for the position of crown princess for Rowan. No one has time to pay attention to an invisible person like the little girl. The little girl carries a little bit of dry food, enough to sustain life, but almost stolen by a mouse. The little girl quickly snatched it back for a minute. Another part, then took a step back, squeezed a sound. The body transformed into the shape of a snow leopard, unbearably cute. At first, the little girl intended to use this form to scare the mouse away, but unexpectedly, she herself was so scared that she hid under the carpet. Just like that, the little snowbag hugged the food, curled up in the carpet, both scared and upset, waiting for dusk. Her grandfather often said that she was a mixed-race child who killed her mother. Not only the Snow Leopard clan hates her, but even the Black Leopard clan wants to get rid of her. Now, TL can only try going there once. Even so, the timid TL still can't help but feel a shiver of fear. The little head trembled in fear, and soon it was dark, and the little snowbag moved silently. Grandma treated Rowan very well, so she insisted on going to her room to rummage through some money first. After a while of searching, she actually found a man. Luckily, TL found some gold coins, probably enough to rent a carriage. Suddenly, TL found some gold coins, probably enough to rent a carriage. The little girl found a pendant from the Black Panther family. Why is the Black Panther's thing here? Carrying suspicion, the little girl carefully passed by. Looking, unexpectedly it was a photo of her mother. Tiyuko Don couldn't hold back her tears. She decided to take the photo with her, hoping her mother could continue. Gave the little girl some courage. Everything in the plan seemed to be going well, but she missed the dancer who was on patrol. The person who came thought, "Is Miss Rowan?" But looking closely, it turns out to be that bastard's child. Her actions are so secretive, clearly she has evil intentions, she is selfish. Immediately, the guards were called to arrest Tiyu. With no way to escape, Tiyu had no choice but to rush into the area reserved for royal guests. To avoid causing a commotion, everyone could only retreat outside and immediately report to the homeowner. This was TL's first time coming to this place. The cold darkness around made her panic and lost her way. If she was caught, she would be dead. The little girl had no idea that someone had been standing behind her. When that person's hand touched her, her legs went weak, fell to the ground. "Who is it? What are you doing here?" Green eyes like a snake slowly locked onto its prey. Before the previous question, that part Tiyu trembled and was speechless. The boy carefully observed the torn clothes underneath and the golden eyes. It's clearly not Miss Rowan, but that silver hair is definitely a sign of a snow leopard. "If you don't tell me, I'll kick you out right now." TL panicked, quickly admitted that he was a snow leopard, and said he wanted to leave this place. Just then, there was a knocking sound outside. Door. It seems like the group of people chasing TL has arrived. Without much time to think, the young man immediately told TL to transform back into a snow leopard and hid under the bed. Little Snowplow quickly crawled in, not knowing that its cute little tail was still sticking out, looking so strange. Stupid. At that time, the officer standing outside informed the young man that he heard that the Snow Leopard clan had a mentally unstable maid running away. Subscribe to Gi and Me Go channel to not miss interesting videos. Kia had silver hair, but they lied that she was a maid. Then he ordered, "No one is to disturb my rest." It turned out that he was the crown prince, who did not attend this visit. Although he was afraid of trouble, things had come to this point, so he had to accept it. After the assistant left, the prince signaled for the little snow leopard to appear, and then asked what had happened. There was no way back. Hiding, the little snow leopard had no choice but to tell the whole story of his escape plan. When he learned that the girl's father was from the Black Leopard clan, the crown prince was extremely shocked. Looking at those round golden eyes, he seemed to understand everything. When Teal heard that his wallet was not balanced, not enough to go that far, the little girl panicked. But unexpectedly, the other party agreed to take her. This was the first time TL smiled, extremely happy. Nina gently waved her hand, creating a blue magic ball, letting her waist crawl into it to avoid being discovered. Just like that, the little snow leopard was lifted up and placed into the magical space. The two little feet just touched the ground. The inside of the little feet just touched the ground. Everything was in chaos. Dark, pitch black, whatever you touched disappeared. This made the little girl's whole body's hair stand on end, scared to the point of having to move cautiously. In front of her was a glowing pillow, covering. When the coldness was extremely prominent, she tried to touch it lightly. Luckily, it did not disappear. Little Snow was overjoyed, finally having a place to sleep. The next morning, the assistant only exchanged a few polite words, and then intended to leave, which made his grandfather extremely dissatisfied. For the sake of the prince he had married, he composed a song. The plan had been in place for months, and he was still harboring hatred in his heart. Now, this unlucky niece had ruined his great plan. He couldn't help but want to. Gave TL a lesson to remember. Initially, he intended to let the assistant meet Rowan's niece. But the other side's stubborn, unyielding attitude made him angry, making him even more upset. Rowan barged in at this moment, eagerly asking if he could enter the palace. Obviously, Rowan was eliminated from the list. Still naively asked when he would be taken away. The man didn't care, just left a door. Say goodbye and leave. Grandpa is extremely angry. It's all because of that uninvited brat. The family head is guilty. The Snow Leopard clan felt unwilling in their hearts, but there was nothing they could do. They could only force a smile and see the guests to the door. Unexpectedly, the prince played a trick on him. The sound of the door closing resounded like thunder, leaving his grandfather standing there stunned. The crown prince muttered in frustration, if it weren't for his ability being so strong, a child's physique couldn't handle it, then he wouldn't need to go to hell. The association looking for a mate to share power like this caused those nobles to compete to kill each other. At this time, Ian just remembered the Snow Leopard. While still in the magical space, he quickly carried the sleepy cub out. The assistant standing next to me saw this and was stunned, constantly wiping his glasses to make sure his vision wasn't blurry. Immediately after, the assistant standing next to me saw it. Ian ordered to depart to the Black Panther territory to bring this child home. After hearing this, the assistant looked doubtful. After knowing Ian's identity, the little Snow Leopard's eyes blinked anxiously, and he hurriedly said that he wanted to go to the Black Leopard clan to investigate. The Black Panther is famous for its golden eyes. The symbol of the Snow Leopard is silver hair. This made the assistant think of an old rumor. In the past, two heirs of two rival families, Cassius and Lena, got married despite their families' objections. Gave birth to twins. But when she was pregnant with her third child, bad news suddenly came. That child also turned into a monkey. Disappeared without a trace. That shocking news once shocked public opinion. Soon, they arrived at the Black Panther family's territory. As soon as he got out of the car, Ian said he wanted to meet the family head, and at the same time declared, I think I've found your youngest daughter. Subscribe to Gi and Me Go channel to not miss interesting videos. Snow Leopard, this was the first time she had worn a dress to this place. If Ian hadn't been by her side, she definitely wouldn't have dared to enter. When he arrived at the living room, Teal was extremely confused, still unable to calmly sit down, both afraid of dirtying the clothes Ian gave him. The teenagers saw this and immediately took action. It seemed that if he didn't do it, he wouldn't be good. His waist and face were red with embarrassment. When the food was served, her stomach immediately growled, but she still hesitated to touch her chopsticks. The delicious taste spread, making TL so happy that he felt like he was flying to the sky. At this moment, the big door opened. The head of the Black Panther family, TL's father, walked in. TL immediately became confused and stood up in a panic. Cassius slowly approached. Even though TL had imagined the meeting countless times, when he remembered his grandfather's words that his father would beat him, TL could only bow his head. Tao was speechless. But Tiu did not know that the other party had already been moved to the point of embarrassment. The two silently faced each other for a few seconds. The first time they met, but it felt like a lifetime had passed. TL clenched the thing in her palm, as if it could give her more courage. She took out the pendant to prove her identity. My fate, I beg you. Please, please let me stay. I'm not a picky eater. I can sleep in the warehouse." That lowly plea made the father's heart ache, as if it was stabbed by a knife. In that moment, his daughter's pain seemed to penetrate his heart. He wanted to comfort his son, but because he was too stressed, he instinctively backed away. The father had to suppress his emotions and sadness. A servant had to leave the reception room, saying that he needed to talk privately with the prince, then told the maid to take him to rest. Because of the sudden departure, TL's heart was filled with sadness. His father still hadn't said he accepted him. That made TL completely uncertain about the future. No money, no food. The little girl might have to sell the expensive dress Ian gave her. TL really couldn't bear it. While waiting for the maid to arrive, TL's eyes were already secretly wet. As soon as the maid appeared, she gently held on TL's leg and brought the maid in. "Feed TL and say the owner will come see TL soon." Hearing that, TL's tears silently fell down, but then she decided, whatever. If she didn't eat, then when she got kicked out, there would be nothing left to regret. At the same time, Cassius learned what his daughter had endured. A small body full of wounds, and was called Nature by the snow leopard people. The crazy maid. He had roughly guessed everything. The Black Panther and Snow Leopard families were still fighting for power. The progress continued to weaken, almost touching the brink of destruction. But the appearance of Lena reversed the situation. Her ability surpassing her peers made the Snow Leopard have a glimmer of hope, and she ended up marrying Cassius. Therefore, TL was the backup move that they all considered. Left. Adults using children as tools in power struggles is truly outrageous. Just in time. At this time, the maid rushed in to report that the young lady accompanying this guest had fainted. Cassius immediately panicked and rushed to the dining room where TL was. At that time, TL was whispering an apology, his face pale as he lay in the maid's arms. Josh immediately ordered TL to be put on the bed, then sent someone to call the doctor. Looking at the board, he collapsed on the ground, his hands clenched in anger. Fortunately, nothing serious, just a slight fever of 90 degrees. Cassius couldn't help but blame himself. At that time, he should have comforted the girl first. He said softly, "As long as you want, I can give you everything." He decided to personally do the identity verification procedure for TL. Before that, he had already sent his own documents to the temple, just waiting to find his son. Now, that belief was finally rewarded. Ian saw this and just judged. The scene returned to the royal palace, although he was still angry because he could not say goodbye to the little girl. After hearing the news, TL's grandfather traveled more than 800 miles to get there, eager to see his granddaughter again. Even though he was, the old man stopped him because his granddaughter was resting. He also insisted on taking a sneak peek. Just that was enough to satisfy him. In the end, he brought his granddaughter home. The Duke gently closed the door and left quietly. In the dream, TL kept running away. Countless dark hands chased closely, wanting to take face. The little girl woke up with a start, finding herself lying on a soft bed. Could it be that they really weren't going to chase her away? At that moment, a fierce argument could be heard outside. "I really have to kill that bastard." These words made TL's blood run cold. The little girl realized that, in this family, Ella also had no place for herself. When the night was quiet, the little girl had to transform into a little snow leopard once again. But this time, she didn't go searching for things anymore, and chose to leave them behind. Straightforward. In no time, the news of the disappearance reached her father's ears. In his hand, blazing spiritual flames immediately appeared. Even if he had to dig 3,000 meters of earth, he had to find that girl for me. He gritted his teeth. Trang ordered, Father has not done anything for his son yet. This time he must make it clear to his son. Not long after, when he learned that his daughter was hiding in the basement, he rushed over. According to the code due in the corner, his whole body trembled, begging his father to forgive him, completely unaware of what was behind him. And her father's heartbroken eyes. Her father's gentle call made her panic again. The painful memories of her time in the Snow Leopard clan were unforgettable to her. The fear had unintentionally awakened the hidden magic within her. A flash of golden light stunned the man, and TL immediately fainted. When she opened her eyes again, her father was by her side, keeping watch. His gentle words of comfort still echoed in her ears. Before she fainted, but at that time, fear had overwhelmed everything. When the main doctor arrived, Teal gradually realized that her position in her father's heart had changed a lot. Thinking back to the days in the Snow Leopard, even though her whole body was covered in wounds, the doctor there didn't even bother to give her a bandage. Knowing that his daughter was still worried, the man hesitated to explain. Those golden eyes were enough to prove that she was real. The Black Panther family's plan. When he heard that he could stay here and eat sweets, his eyes lit up. Father was warm. Promised that I could live here forever. That made TL very touched. Dad even called someone to bring dessert. Her face was filled with a happy smile. The feeling of being fed sweet food by someone almost made her turn back into a snow leopard out of joy. Knowing that the gentle maid would be his personal maid, TL's sense of security grew even more. Elsewhere, the Duke, not being able to see his grandchild, Cassius paced back and forth in the living room anxiously. Cassius said bluntly that he could not see her, because last night Thiel awakened the power of light. It was not the ice power of the snow leopard, nor the fire power of the black leopard. That made the Duke extremely surprised. That ability had only existed in legends. What few people knew was that there was once a secret prophecy in the Leopard clan. The power of light could dispel the curse. At this time, the power situation was very chaotic. If the temple or the royal family discovered, the girl's peaceful life would once again fall into chaos. Please subscribe to the channel to support my channel. After that, Teal still couldn't fully adapt to her new life. She sat timidly in the corner of the sofa. No matter what her father said, she didn't dare to move. Her father could only resort to the method of holding his daughter up. This action made Teal a little embarrassed. Seeing this, the father smiled with satisfaction, and the wariness in Teal's heart also disappeared. Such simple, ordinary things could make Teal laugh, which made the father's eyes full of pity. They had robbed him of his son. How happy! Then, the father began to tell the little girl about the secret of TL's power. Love is surprised to find out that he has become the treasure of the empire. Father, can I be of any help to the family? The question dies. Growing up made the man's heart ache. He never expected his daughter to shoulder the family's affairs. That was completely for example. Tai is the opposite of what his grandfather thinks. For Cassius, the only thing he wants is for his daughter to be able to live happily every day. As for the rest, just leave it to me. I just want to tell you that your abilities are special, not because I need your help. Hearing that, Tu finally felt relieved. Yes, father. Yes. Meanwhile, at the Snow Leopard family, the head of the family was extremely angry because he couldn't find the pig's tit. The weather was so bad, it was extremely dangerous to go out. If by any chance the Black Panther discovers them, the consequences will be dire. He immediately ordered an increased search. Once discovered, action will take place immediately. Yet is not better. Compared to the Snow Leopard grandfather who does not love TL, Teal is even more afraid of the cruel Black Leopard grandfather. Oh my, the two of them had never met, but the little girl imagined that he would cut her in half. When she heard that her grandfather gave her a lot of gifts, her heart immediately trembled. She wanted to know first what to do. Those tricks and schemes. The more she thought about it, the more scared she became. A few days later, she heard that her grandfather had returned and wanted to see his granddaughter. Finally, the two of them officially met for the first time. Before that, he had heard that his precious granddaughter hated him, so he took the initiative to explain. Maybe she understood. I got it wrong. He quickly called Teal over to clear up the misunderstanding. Even though his tone was gentle, Teal still bowed her head inwardly. Her heart was filled with an instinctive fear of her grandfather's identity. In addition to the fact that she had overheard her maternal grandfather talking about him before, the little girl trembled as she recounted the story. That night, hearing that, the grandfather immediately scolded loudly. The sound of shouting almost made Teal kneel down in fear. He hurriedly explained. Who would have thought that would only scare the little girl even more? The misunderstanding deepened. Then he, trying to make it clear that the sentence was to scold his grandfather. The person he wanted to kill was his grandfather. It was all Kash's fault for not letting him see his granddaughter. Seeing his grandfather awkwardly explaining in a clumsy manner, Tiu couldn't help but laugh, and then thanked him for giving him such a big room. That made the grandfather so happy. He almost wanted to take out his heart for his grandson to play with. Then he took out a large fruit cart and prepared to start. A soft, fluffy black panther stuffed animal, so cute that you can't hold it anymore. Feeling happy for his beloved granddaughter, I'm so satisfied. My brothers used to love this dish too. It's good that you like it. According to the evil spirit, brother, it turns out that no one has told the little girl that she has two older brothers. When she knew that the two brothers were running back from the academy, the little girl immediately became worried. Would they blame her for what happened to her mother? Trust her sister. Fever up to 300 degrees. Two brothers did not even think. Immediately ran. Went home but still refused to admit it. The family of eccentrics finally reunited. The first time meeting her brother, Teal's heart was pounding, but luckily her father wasn't there. The intro blooms softened the atmosphere while being dreamy. The eldest brother Foddy was the one to break the silence, politely introducing himself, showing his poise. After Junjin said his name, he was in Rudian. Second brother again. Losing money, only 7 years old. So young. The first time we met, brought a feeling of heavy pressure, making TL scared to the point of fainting. Even though the two of them did not resemble their mother at all, Rudian was curious and teased. White hair, golden eyes, truly magical. That sentence accidentally brought up Teal's painful memories. It turned out that when her grandfather called her, is an illegitimate child because of this. Luckily, father spoke up in time. Too much nonsense, then I will not allow you to be an illegitimate child. Get close to your sister in the near future. The two older brothers could only obediently say yes. But Foddy did not miss the opportunity to add fuel to the fire at that moment. Fire. Don't be so casual with your sister. Then he gently gave food to TL while still maintaining a straight face. Received, smiling, and said, having such a lovely little sister really makes him very happy. That makes the little snow leopard was a little more comforted. On the contrary, the straightforward Rudian standing beside him became more annoying the more he looked. He had clearly said when he first arrived that having a younger sister was troublesome. Now he looks completely different. Truly two-faced. Even though they are twins, their personalities are different. After a world of difference, compared to this hot Rudin, Foddy is much calmer and more mature. From the beginning, Foddy did not believe in Purple. Even though he appeared to love her on the outside, he thought the complete opposite in his heart. He didn't think Teal really has the ability to lift the curse. Even though everyone else was fooled, he wasn't so easily fooled by Mew. Therefore, Foddy secretly began to investigate the true identity of this sister. A few days later, the little girl began to clearly feel that her two older brothers did not seem to like her, because they are really too weird and show it too clearly. Peeping out the window, watching from the hall, the little girl was sullen and whispering, "Did I do something wrong?" The maid explained that it was an order from the adults, to avoid direct contact due to the prohibition of access. After that meal, Verdi's eyes were no longer as gentle as before. Every time he looked at her, it was like he was interrogating her. That feeling was exactly the same as in the Snow Leopard clan, full of vigilance and pressure. At this time, the maidservant delivered the news. Crown Prince Ian came to visit. Hearing that Ian came to find her, Teal immediately became happy again. Immediately, the two people hiding behind the flower bushes also panicked and hurriedly appeared. Very polite, but still could not hide their frenzy. It was unacceptable. They are brothers but cannot get close to their sister, while an outsider who is their savior can meet her so easily. How could they lose, brother? Foddy immediately ordered, "Tell that guy to get lost." The maid almost died on the spot after hearing that. Is the young master telling me to chase the crown prince out? Before he could finish his words, Prince Ian stepped forward with an arrogant demeanor. "I was the one who saved your real sister. Is this how you leopards repay? Is this how you two brothers repay?" Was about to object, but they themselves had not yet fully acknowledged the girl's identity. There was no other way. Theo must personally come forward to mediate, urgently begging you. "Please give us a little time, okay?" That adorable appearance immediately softened the two brothers' hearts. Immediately after, one of them spoke. The other person said no. Prince Yan was almost angry. Then suddenly, as the waist reached out its little claws to grab Ferdy's hand, "Can you come with me?" Foddy was melted by his sister's coquettish words and immediately nodded in agreement. Rudian blushed with jealousy and was about to speak up, but didn't know how. Foddy blocked my throat. "I still have homework to do." How despicable. My mouth is full of nonsense. Said to be a supervisor. Face is gentle. Clearly has fallen into the sweet lake called sister. Soon, everyone entered the living room. Ian felt relieved to see TL living happily like that. He snapped his fingers and his special ability immediately appeared. The sparkling dresses left TL stunned. At that time, how could the older brother just stand there and watch little sister? Running after others is fine. Immediately, cold sarcasm rang out. "What's so new? My brother can do it too. Just a few dresses, I can give them away right away." Neither of them would give in, causing Theo to break out in a cold sweat. She quickly stepped forward to choose a simple outfit. "Say thank you. This is all I need." But Ian was not so easily convinced. "So, you intend to let people know that the crown prince called to visit, but only gave them a set of clothes?" Tiu was scared pale after hearing that. "Crown prince," Zi said again, then accepted all. Actually, Ian still felt that everyone was different because he only bought one set last time. But he didn't know. That gift has long been a priceless treasure to her. Foddy immediately interjected. "This Ian guy is probably just pretending." Later, when TL's identity is recognized, a lot of people will come to take advantage of her. Ian's patience was completely worn out at this point. Where did this guy come from? He was really hard to deal with. He immediately pulled TL towards him. "I'll take you to the palace right away. Anyway, we don't have the results of the identity verification yet, right?" But then he suddenly remembered. The identity verification had always been a worry in TL's heart. What if it really wasn't true? Immediately Nan made a warm promise. "It's okay. You're so cute. If you're not from the Black Panther clan, I'll take you." Go straight to the palace. Hearing that, Foddy was shocked and quickly fought for the right to be by his sister's side. He said. Ian immediately forbade him from making such deceptive remarks again, and hurriedly brainwashed his innocent sister. TL nodded dreamily. On one side was Ian protecting the little girl. On the other side was her real brother loving her. TL felt like an uncle. The baby bird was suddenly thrown into the arena, not knowing what to do. Ian didn't want to make things difficult for the little girl, so he turned around and left. Ian said gently, "Don't worry, I will come back." With a noble kiss full of gallantry and wishes, Ian will come back. Subscribe to Gi and Me Go channel to not miss interesting videos of the Crown Prince before Ferdy made Ferdy grit his teeth in anger. At this moment, Rudian also arrived after finishing his homework, hearing the natural words. Ian's perfect farewell. His face also darkened. Little Snowball blushed and didn't dare to say anything, and Foddy was furious. Compared to whether my sister is biological or not, the two of us have something more important right now, which is not letting that damn prince. Dian approached his sister once more. Kiheo sighed. But what if I want to see him? At the same time, a mysterious letter was delivered to the snow leopard's owner. It was too late. The little snow leopard's escape was discovered. The snow leopard master tightly gripped the letter, his whole body radiating murderous intent, but his eyes contained unease. Because that letter was sent by the Black Panther, it did not give a reason, just blatantly ordered the expulsion. Raise pigs and at the same time cut off all transportation routes with the Snow Leopard clan. It turns out that it was all planned by TL's father and grandfather. Although this action may make the little girl feel embarrassed, how can she not avenge this grudge? The Snow Leopard master is full of blankets. Just 3 days. How did that girl run all the way to the Black Panther territory thousands of miles away? Unless there's an insider, it's definitely the car. The royal horse secretly took the girl away. What kind of charm did that girl have that could make the royal family help her? Just thinking about the assistant's attitude towards him that day, my grandfather wanted to get angry again. He ordered a little anger at the maid that night for not knowing. Couldn't catch the pepper. Hearing the news, Rowan rushed over. That maid was her wet nurse since she was little. She was terrible, determined to protest the punishment. But the Snow Leopard owner was extremely angry, and for the first time, he got angry at his beloved niece, Rowan, home. They left in tears, determined to leave. However, their response had only just begun. A few days passed, the results of TL's identity verification had been sent a long time ago, but there was still no result. Maybe the family reported it. Tuet was silently waiting for the right time, thinking about the possibility that TL would have to come back and make Tuet suffer. Grandpa was so worried that he couldn't rest. As it should be said, the entire clan was eagerly awaiting the announcement of the little snow leopard's identity. Not only did they receive countless gifts, but there were also consecutive banquets. Exactly the type that girls liked the most. However, when TL heard about it, she felt worried because she had absolutely no experience with social gatherings. Her father immediately realized that and gently comforted her. "Don't worry. If you don't want to make it public, I won't announce anything. As long as you want, I will agree since it was announced." Allowing access to their sister, the two brothers immediately ran to TL's room. Rudian excitedly proposed to carry her on his shoulders to show her around the mansion. But immediately, Foddy, who was following behind, coldly objected. Compared to Rudian's antics, the story of the fairy tale in Ferdy's hand was even more attractive. Before, she could only stand outside the door and eavesdrop. So now cherish every moment even more. Ferdy looked at the little snow leopard, captivated by the story, not forgetting to glance at Rudian. The more Rudian looked, the more annoyed he became. The other guy was clearly on guard, pretending to be close. It was obvious that he was the one who loved his sister the most. When it came to the part about the lion breaking into the forest, Rudian immediately interrupted, thinking it would be interesting to see it with his own eyes. He used fire magic to summon a flaming lion. Foddy was immediately enraged, afraid that his little sister would be scared, but Teal's adoring gaze beside him made the eldest brother confused. Okay, maybe I'm just thinking too much. When he heard his sister say she wanted to learn magic, Ferdy knew his chance had come. He didn't believe that TL really had the ability. In the morning, he took the girl to the martial arts arena to practice magic. To cast magic, he must first visualize its form. At this moment, Foddy did not hide anything. The fire on his body became more and more intense. TLB. At first it was fun, but then I started to feel something was wrong. The fire burned fiercely, burning the surroundings. Rudian felt uneasy and quickly tried to stop, but the fire was out of control. The Black Panther's curse suddenly took effect. Urian tried to control it, but was completely controlled by the fire, and was eventually injured and exhausted. The fire burned brightly like the night sky. Want to burn everything? That waste cannot help but blame himself. If I did not ask to learn magic, then he would not be hurt. A sound rang out in my heart. Miss, only her ability can save her brother. Even though there is only a faint hope, TL still decided to try. While in a coma, Fadi saw his brave sister approaching. At that moment, he realized he was wrong. My sister is so innocent and kind, yet I don't trust her. Even though the fire was warning fiercely, TL still ignored everything and rushed into the sea of fire. Spread your arms wide to call for a ferry. Please, I beg you. Please let your brother return safely. A blinding beam of light tore across the night sky. In an instant, it swallowed the sea of fire and gradually disappeared. Golden light filled the ground. The shield fell on Ferdy, and Teal passed out in his arms. The holy light that had just shone echoed throughout the entire empire. But signs of a big event are coming. The little snow leopard has a fever of 90 degrees again. Foddy can't stop worrying. Rejuvenated, thinking back to the moment his sister risked her life to save him, his heart was filled with even more regret. To him, was Tiu his biological child? Falling or not is not important. He just hates himself for having hoped for the light, but letting his faith collapse. Fear, suffering and guilt all fell on the little sister's small shoulders. The two of them explained together the incident with father. It was done. All father wanted now was for his precious daughter to wake up soon. Even so, he couldn't help but blame himself. Should have built a roof for the martial arts arena long ago. The royal family certainly could not have suspected that Luong Anasang was so bright. If the legend is true, then the verification of bloodline must be carried out immediately because this certification is the key to protecting the daughter. The next day, TL woke up and the first thing he did was ask about Ferdy's condition. When he learned that his brother was safe and had spent the whole night inside his school, the little girl was extremely surprised and touched. After changing her clothes, she quietly went to his brother's room. Seeing that his sister was fine, Foddy didn't pay any attention to Fo's teasing. Rudian immediately hugged TL, emotionally telling him, "Promise me, don't hurt him in the future." Similar to myself too. Tiu obediently nodded in the warm embrace. At this time, the father also arrived, wanting to take his beloved daughter out for a walk. On the way, Carsos gently scolded his daughter for her reckless actions. He said that if it weren't for the timely release of light, the consequences would be unimaginable. But soon after, his father was grateful for the money. Teal saved Ferdy and solemnly told her to cherish her life. Hearing her father scolding her but still full of love, Teal was both touched and happy. I understand. Okay, thank you, father. Very quickly, the father and son arrived at the master's room. Grandfather felt very relieved when he saw his granddaughter Bean Ann, so he immediately hugged her. I led to the book, clicked on the red book. A secret room immediately opened. Obviously, there is no need for a bloodline test because only family bloodlines can open this secret room. Is a place specially prepared for those who awaken to the power of light. Under the guidance of Grandpa, Teo stood in a special position. The light in her hand suddenly emitted. The entire room immediately appeared with yellow talismans. The metal signifies that light can overcome darkness. If brought to a state of perfect balance, it can dispel wishes. She watched her daughter's back as she left, her heart heavy, and she silently swore, I will protect you. Cassius's eyes flashed, a cold ray. And I absolutely will not let anyone touch you even a single hair. Obviously, the royal family's letter. And the temple had been sent long ago, referring to the light that appeared in the sky the night before. They used the excuse of bloodline identification to invite. With the Black Panther clan coming to meet. The plot is too obvious. Cat fever. Boss laughed coldly. Fine. Let me see how much more chaos you guys are going to cause. After clearing up the misunderstanding, Foddy and his sister became closer, making Julian, who was left out, furious. During the meal, Foddy gently asked his sister if the food was delicious. Do you want more? The maid reminded. This is just an appetizer. 1 portion per person. Rudian didn't say much, quietly pushed his portion to his very understanding sister TL, cut a small piece and shared it with him, acting like this. That girl made Julian extremely touched. Afterwards, TL carefully divided the cake equally. The Ferdy, then start enjoying your part. Witnessing that scene, the father was extremely moved. This was the image he had been waiting for a long time. Immediately after that, Cassius gave instructions. TL must rest well. Tomorrow we will go to the temple to get the test results. Teal was still a little worried. The 2 brothers immediately asked to go together. Obviously Teal had brought Teal home. They put protecting their sister first. Why are you guys more nervous than bad guys? She muttered. The next day, since this was the young lady's first time going out, the maids argued furiously just to choose a hairstyle. After a while of being busy, they finally finished the design. It was so cute. The pretty fluttering braids made the little snow leopard ecstatic with satisfaction. The little girl, who was once laughed at by the entire snow leopard clan, has now transformed into a little angel, leaving her brothers stunned. Look at the area in front of him. Rudian was about to stroke his sister's head but immediately stopped. His sister's hair was too beautiful. If he lied, it would be ruined. Let's go. Father must be waiting impatiently, so his eldest brother urged him. Soon, the group arrived at the temple. Carsos immediately held his daughter in his arms, his eyes determined, no matter what tricks the temple used. He also won't leave half a step, determined to protect TL to the end. TL is equally tense. The little girl remembered what her brother told her. If she met a bad person, she should shout loudly, don't. The little girl remembered what her brother told her. If she met a bad person, she should shout loudly, don't. As they entered deep into the temple, they immediately met the high priest, who immediately suggested a direct re-examination on the spot to ensure accurate results. She glared at him, almost did as her brother said, shouted, don't. Luckily she held back. Is this really for the truth? The holy lake contains divine power. If the bloodline is the same, it will turn blue. Both of their hair was released into the blue. Drank water, but there was no reaction. Unfortunately, It seems this child is not the person you are looking for. Cassius immediately, realizing he was tricked, the fake result was used to shake the child's mind. Furthermore, there is an unspoken rule in the temple that homeless children will be kept and raised by the temple. Immediately after, several priests nearby started to take action. The situation was not good. Knowing that he was not his father's biological son, everyone thought that the little snow leopard would collapse. But no. Her round eyes only blinked in doubt. Strange, something was wrong with this. The priests were stunned. How could a child say such a thing? In fact, she did not believe in this plan from the beginning. The clan, Black Panther, is not easily fooled by such cheap tricks. If it were before, TL would probably still be worried and suspicious. But after using her bloodline to open the secret room, she completely believed that no one could distort the truth. Without hesitation, TL plucked a few strands of hair and turned to look at his father. Cassius understood immediately. Even though she was still in her hair, she ignored the objections around her and resolutely let it in. TL was not afraid or confused, because her father truly loved her. But the high priest remained calm, because the holy water needed divine power to be effective. However, what no one expected was that when the hair touched the water, the entire surface of the lake immediately glowed a brilliant golden color. This is not simply a blood test, but also a resonance between bloodline and divine power, even when the truth is clearly before one's eyes. The high priest T still argued, insisting that, without the confirmation of the Pope or the Pope's representative, it was still not valid. Just as High Priest T was still stubbornly insisting that only the color blue was valid evidence, a voice rang out. Only the representative of the Pope. Is that okay? The Crown Prince's sudden appearance caused the High Priest to break out in a cold sweat, because the Crown Prince was the only special representative designated, specified besides him. As soon as Ian dipped his hair into the holy lake, the water surface immediately turned blue. The evidence was clear. Everyone was speechless. Teal was saved by Ian again. She was so moved that she ran to him. "Thank you, Ian. When I grow up, I will definitely repay you." Ian replied, then smiled slightly, holding her innocent and lovely face. "So, you have to think carefully about how to ask me to repay you." "Okay." The sight almost made Rudian unable to bear it. Luckily, Cassius reached out in time to hold his son back. "Oh, it hurts, Dad." "Please calm down." After calming down, the high priest thought he would be punished, but Cassius just glanced over it with contempt. "Don't care. The results are out, so let's go home." At that moment, Zhao completely let go of all the burdens in his heart. On the carriage, Crown Prince Yan was filled with emotion. Zhao had grown up in just 1 minute. A little girl who used to cry a lot has now become brave and strong. She is truly both adorable and admirable. That reminded him of himself in the past, who was considered a danger by everyone, and the Emperor even wanted to kill him. Luckily, his parents. He risked his life to protect, carrying royal blood. To survive, Ian had to shoulder heavy responsibilities. The Emperor forced his son. He must quickly marry the Crown Princess, in order to weaken the power he holds. Now, the only thing that makes Ian feel at ease is returning to his own strange space, which is pitch black and gloomy, but has a very prominent pink leopard pillow. Obviously not his. Ian bent down to take a closer look. The scent of the little snow leopard still lingered on the pillow. His heart trembled slightly. The burden in his heart also became a little lighter thanks to that. "Thank you." Sure enough, the next day, Teal's matter became the focus of the entire empire. Looking at a cart full of invitations from nobles, TL was stunned. Looking at the lovely little sister being evaluated by a man. However, The lovely little sister being evaluated by a man. However, the lovely little sister being evaluated by a man. People looked. The two brothers and I immediately collected all the invitations and burned them all. The father was busy preparing his daughter's outfit, thinking that since it was a big event, she had to dress properly. Rudian was programming. That is, to object. The prince's gift of clothes must be fashionable. Otherwise it's useless and might as well be thrown away. So there's only, by asking Olivia, TL's same age friend, for help. Anyway, men's fashion sense is really worrying. Kai just heard that name. The two brothers were immediately startled. It was said that Oliver, Pia, was her cousin. Teal couldn't help but think of Rowan. This made her a little worried. Foddy rubbed her head clearly. Don't worry. I can go to the store with you. Rudian is very confident. Don't worry. My taste is definitely great. Unexpectedly, Ferdy immediately said, I'll leave it alone. Don't ruin my shopping mood. The two of them immediately. The fight was so intense that even a leopard-like beast appeared. What the hell is going on? Just when everyone was in chaos, the father, suddenly speaking, there is something I want to tell you. The Crown Prince's birthday party this year was cancelled. What happened? When he heard that Ian's birthday party was cancelled, the little snow leopard's small face showed worry. Every year, in order to attend that party, the Snow Leopard clan had to order their ceremonial clothes a month in advance. There must be a reason for the sudden cancellation of the banquet this time. Rudian asked curiously, Sister, when is your birthday? The whole family was stunned. The question was too straightforward. Totally unsubtle. Because TL's birthday is also her mother's birthday. Even TL herself doesn't know. The exact date of birth was only guessed to be in winter. Because in winter, my grandfather punished me more severely than other times. That sentence was deeply engraved in the father's heart. Cassius hugged his daughter tightly. This is not your fault. If your mother heard this, I would definitely not be at fault. She will definitely tear your grandfather in half. Hearing that, TU was terrified, accidentally imagining his mother as a cannibal monster, making her unable to like her. She was a bit self-conscious. Her father was extremely regretful for not being able to give his daughter peace of mind. Lean encouraged her. Always be happy. The two older brothers and the younger sister immediately rushed over. Yes, 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 our younger sister must be happy. Not long after, Crown Prince Ian came to visit. Teal happily ran out to greet him, and Ian quickly reminded him as soon as he saw him. Run a little slower. Don't fall, the little snowflake is happy. Today I will take you to visit my new house. Ian was moved. I didn't expect you to change so much. On the way, TU whispered in Ian's ear. Why did you cancel the birthday party? Is this little girl worried about me? Actually, Ian cancelled the party because he had his own plans, not because he was worried about affecting the little girl. Knowing that, TL felt relieved. The more she spoke, the more embarrassed she became. Her face turned red, and she lowered her head, not daring to look at the other person. At that moment, Ian gently placed his hand on her head. Predictably, is it okay to do so? Of course. No. The two brothers' faces were as black as the bottom of a pot. Appeared from nowhere, shouting loudly. We protest. Get your hands off my sister. The little snow leopard looked confused. He didn't understand anything. You guys are really strange today. Ian, sit down. Okay, this birthday I must celebrate here. Foddy was furious. The argument broke out again, causing TL to lose his voice. Stinking, not knowing what to do. Little Hugh, celebrating her birthday alone, was really lonely. Wine was about to ask about. TL's birthday was covered by Rudian. This topic is forbidden. Immediately after, the two brothers approached TL. Softly said, "Don't worry, Prince, you're not alone. He has plenty of friends around him." Wyan just heard it, so he immediately refuted. He did not agree with that statement. Seeing that persuasion was difficult, the prince immediately proposed a deal. "I will invite the royal designer to make a special dress for you." The statement. That day, when the wedding was just taking place, everyone present was in an uproar. Because that lady only served the royal family, each of her gifts shocked the nobles of the entire empire. The two older brothers also began to waver, but because the party was near, they finally chose to accept and give in. Only then did Ian smile with satisfaction. Indeed, it's not just superpowers that make people admire. TL finally breathed a sigh of relief, his heart filled with joy. "That's great. Thank you, Your Highness." Ian was not happy to hear that. He didn't like it when you called him Your Highness. He rubbed his hands together shyly for a moment, then blushed and said, "Just call me Ian." TL still didn't. "I don't understand anything. Why is it that even Ian has become strange?" Before leaving, Ian whispered, "The Emperor wants to see you." The two brothers were immediately shocked. Could it be that he wants his sister to be the crown princess? That status is no different from a trap. Wyan hurriedly explained. "Absolutely not. I never had that thought. The position of crown princess is no joke." T-Hel had shown outstanding abilities, and was naive and indifferent to worldly affairs, so people paid attention to her. At that time, TL brought a plate of homemade dessert, just as Ian was remembering the pink leopard pillow in the space last night. He asked casually, "Is that pillow with 4 bows yours?" TL nodded absent-mindedly, thinking to himself, "It seems like something I've seen before. No bow tie. This is weird." Elsewhere, the Emperor was extremely impatient. The Black Panther's master was straightforward. Often said clearly, "I know the inside story. Will not let my granddaughter repeat the tragedy of the past." The debate became heated. The Emperor admitted that he had absolutely no such intention, and the Crown Prince would absolutely not agree. It was just that the lonely prince gave up. He changed so he wanted to know who influenced Ian, but he never mentioned it again. Old, clearly hiding something unspeakable. The Triennial Festival is coming up. TL is very excited because she hasn't been out for a long time. But knowing that all the heirs of the clans would be attending, thinking of the people from the Snow Leopard clan, Teal began to feel worried. Gently coaxed his sister. As for Vayudian, he said frankly that the person who bullied her would definitely come too. Although the festival prohibits causing conflict, destroying a carriage should be fine, right? The more Tiu listened, the more he felt uneasy. But thinking about having his brothers by his side, the little snow leopard felt a little more secure and hopeful. The next morning, when TL woke up, he felt his whole body burning and discovered that he had turned into a little snow leopard. TL couldn't speak. No matter how many times I tried, I still couldn't return to human form, nor could I make a sound. There was no other way. The little girl had to try to jump to the bell to call people. She didn't expect any small pause. It slipped and fell to the ground with a thud. Hearing the noise, the maid rushed in and saw the young lady lying on the ground. The little snow leopard was in so much pain that he cried. He couldn't say a word. The maid kept asking if it would take 10 days for the cases to come. Teo breathed a sigh of relief. Immediately jumped into the maid's arms. So cute. Turns out because he was still young, his waist couldn't be controlled. Heen was completely transformed into a beast. His father gently patted his head to comfort him. It would probably only take a day or 2 to return. It's just... The Black Panther clan was already hot. Now they had to wrap themselves in fur for a few more days. It was truly unbearable. Time for the meeting. The father of the little snow leopard also attended. Everyone was amazed to see the young lady transformed into an animal. The little girl's cuteness is so attractive that even the grandfather can't concentrate. The meeting. Time's up, everyone go home. As soon as Cassius left the room, his grandfather snatched the little snow leopard away from him. Unexpectedly, his grandfather's hand was even hotter than his father's. Just as he was about to kiss his granddaughter, the little snow leopard instinctively pushed him away, saying it was too hot. Too hot. Grandpa thought he did something wrong, worried that his granddaughter wouldn't like him anymore. In fact, Grandpa was really too hot. The father saw this and immediately took his daughter back, and finally managed to escape. But before he could breathe in, 2 portable ovens appeared at the same time. Small snowstorms occurred. Crying again, my life is over. Luckily, my cousin Olivia came. She's here, she's finally here. As soon as she appeared, she exuded an aura that made people breathless. Because just a second ago she just saved her brother's life. It seems that this cousin is not an easy person. The family has always had a very good relationship with the Black Panther. Hearing that Olivia had to throw a tantrum for 3 days before being allowed to leave the house, Rudian suddenly felt sorry for his aunt. She really was miserable. But to be fair, my cousin has long wanted to caress the little snow leopard, her big round black eyes constantly darting around like a shadow. Rudian just teased. It's ruined when it reaches you. Before she could finish her sentence, she was swallowed whole. Her cousin's combat power seemed a bit too formidable. To preserve her life, TL kept struggling with her short legs, about 2.8 meters tall, then crawled in front of Olivia. So cute, you're my cousin. If anyone bullies you in the future, just tell me. At that moment, I felt the gentle goodwill coming from you. Thank you for watching and see you again. The heat in my body also immediately dissipated. I couldn't help but crawl into her arms. Olivia was instantly completely aroused by her maiden soul. So cute, I was completely captivated. The 2 men standing beside him stared. Olivia's muscles were bulging, clearly the type to hug. Stiff. Yet the little sister still let out a satisfied growl. It really made people feel unwilling. Olivia glanced coldly, saying Black was really unreasonable. It turned out that a foreigner like her was inherently cold. Snow leopards are naturally afraid of heat. She also accidentally discovered this before. During afternoon tea, Rowan was irritated by the heat. The purebred snow leopard's fur was much thicker, while TL himself was a mixed breed, so it was a little better. For D couldn't help but feel sorry. It turned out that all this time his sister had been trying to endure the discomfort of being around them. Just then, Olivia asked the housekeeper to bring up 2 servings of ice cream. Rudin did not forget to mock and brought up another movie. Eat more and you'll become a piglet. Did you forget about the pain just now? Just heard the word ice cream. The little snow leopard's face immediately spread out, enjoying the feeling of being pampered like a princess. At the same time, Prince Ian finished writing the letter and prepared many deputies to deliver it to the royal designer. The deputy officer felt that it was not right. It was currently a sensitive time, the time to select the crown princess. If he sent the royal ceremonial dress to the fairy, that it would stir up bad rumors. But Ian was determined. Even though his birthday had always been celebrated grandly in previous years, he felt extremely lonely in his heart. This time, it was the little snow leopard who invited him, so he was determined to give the most perfect gift, regardless of everything. All the objections. However, Ian had no idea that TL was being beaten up on this side. In order to take the little snow leopard home, Cousin Olivia even pushed her father out of the door. Under a fierce sweep by the muscular sister, the next day TL was released from his beast form, not yet able to say thank you. The little girl was hugged tightly by Olivia. So cute. I just want to hug her every day. before the strength of the man with 76-pack abs. The little snow leopard obediently let her sister do whatever she wanted. Olivia excitedly suggested going to her sister's house. "I've saved the best room for you." Rudian heard and muttered, "Isn't the best room the Duke's?" Olivia didn't care. Anything that gets in her way deserves to be kicked away. TL was scared and waved her hands repeatedly, stammering her refusal, but in her heart she just wanted to cuddle her sister for a long time. The little girl timidly whined, "Sister, can I breathe some more air from you? I love it." That sentence made Olivia's heart melt. She immediately used her ability to blow out a strong wind like a tornado, almost overturning the entire black press hall. Rudian quickly stopped her. "Are you trying to destroy my house?" Olivia then came to her senses and managed to gather the wind. But TL was so scared that she turned into a cow. Back. Olivia held her head in regret, not knowing how to love her sister properly. After thinking for a while, she suggested taking her sister out to play and buy lots of delicious food. Theo was a little worried, but his father had offended the temple to protect him. Olivia breathed in after hearing that. "I thought it was something serious. It's okay. I'm here." TL was also a little moved. "The festival is coming soon anyway. This is also a good opportunity to practice more." "But will Dad agree?" Vayu is extremely confident and assured. "I have hundreds of ways. Just trust me." After saying that, he immediately used dozens of ways to throw tantrums, causing such a ruckus that even a calm person like Cassius almost couldn't handle it. Foe quickly covered Tiyu's eyes, silently praying that this afternoon he definitely couldn't let his sister learn from him. Tiyu softly told her father, "I just want to go out to get used to it. It won't be awkward at the festival." After hearing that, the father was stunned. He didn't expect his daughter to be so serious. Cassius nodded, told the two older brothers to protect their little sister well. Olivia stood up proudly as soon as she heard this. This move of hers was always effective. Now it's absolutely safe, looking just like a wolf carrying a basket of bamboo shoots. Little Red Riding Hood left. The two brothers could only watch in silence. "Oh no." TL stuck his head out of the basket, looking at the scenery outside with curiosity and interest. They arrived at the pastry shop that Olivia had mentioned. She called ZA, B, C, D without blinking an eye. Rudian was confused. There was cake at home too. Why? Why go out and make it so hard? But Tihu was so happy. As soon as she transformed into a human, she ran around happily, her eyes shining. The world outside is so beautiful. But at that moment, the light power inside TL suddenly activated. Could something be wrong? Is something hidden in this place? Just then, footsteps sounded outside the door, causing the group to immediately become alert and quickly hide TLD. But it turned out to be just a waiter bringing the cake. Olivia and her two brothers quickly followed up to chase the other person away. But TL under the table is not easy, because she does not know what is happening outside. She is extremely nervous. Because too excited to be outside, the supernatural power in her body also erupted. The goldfish master can evaluate it. The rest were about to crawl out. TL hurriedly thought of scary things to distract his attention. This time, his grandfather finally came into play, helping to defuse the dangerous situation. TL stuck out his claws and asked if he could show himself. After being accepted, he immediately jumped out, enjoying a rare moment of relaxation over afternoon tea. At the same time, the royal designer Chele received a letter. With many years of experience, she quickly realized that this was a commission from the emperor. When she learned that the crown prince wanted to order a dress for the girl he secretly loved, she, extremely happy. It seems that His Highness has fallen in love. She decided to shake hands immediately. Working hard, staying up all night to finish on time. Inside the bakery, the knocking on the door rang out again. No one should be coming at this time. Damn. Without waiting for an answer, the Crown Prince directly rushed in, causing his cousin Olivia to be killed. Startled to reveal his true wolf form. Looks like I came to the right place. Before that, Ian went to the Black Leopard's house to find the little snow leopard. But when he heard that they had gone out, he chased after them, deliberately setting up a disguise to avoid attracting attention. But looking at it like that makes people feel even more suspicious. Someone dared to break the date between her and the little snow leopard, and the cousin immediately felt unhappy. Rudian saw this and agreed. It was too much. 3 versus 1. The Crown Prince seemed to have lost. Go. But Ian refused to accept defeat. When TL saw Ian coming to find him, the little girl immediately stood by the prince. Seeing that scene, Foddy and the other 2 could only hold their breath. Tien admitted defeat. Tiu didn't understand why they didn't like Ian. If she guessed correctly, it was because of jealousy. No. Unexpectedly, the Crown Prince's next words woke everyone up. You guys are about to start school. From now on, I will take care of TL. So I won't be able to see you guys anymore. The little girl asked. Foddy gently comforted her. Just write a letter, and I'll come back right away. Hearing that, the little snow leopard felt relieved and secretly determined. So I have to learn to write quickly. When everyone heard, the waist still didn't know how to write. Everyone was surprised. Actually, her grandfather had never taught her anything before. Rudian thought, if you can't write, you can draw. Studying is boring anyway. That sentence makes people speechless. However, the Crown Prince suddenly broke the silence because the rumor that the black journalist had broken the curse spread everywhere. When I heard that, my heart trembled slightly. This was originally a family secret, but now it had spread throughout the empire. And the person holding the smoke. The light ability is TL. This can put her in danger. Damn it. TL has the ability. Now there are many people who have light ability. There were many forces eyeing her. Although Rudin didn't believe they could completely turn against each other, he couldn't help but feel uneasy. Cousin. Olivia was so eager that she wanted to explode. Whoever dared to touch my treasure was the enemy of the entire Wolf clan. On the contrary, Ian was the calmest person, because sooner or later, those forces certainly wouldn't be able to join hands to deal with a child. But those little threats, he will destroy them all himself. I will protect you, Ian said. But trust me, these sudden events made TL feel heavy pressure. In the dead of night, the 2 adults urgently discussed countermeasures. When the homeowner found out, he was furious. TL's father had also ordered increased vigilance, and at the same time forbade her from going out. The grandfather loved his granddaughter, so he would rather let Tiu awaken and change. It's better to defend yourself and live happily every day. Besides, the royal family is also likely to be involved in this matter, forcing them to act for all of you. But that might get Ferdy involved too. After careful consideration, they decided to improvise. Together. At that time, little Snow was lying in the ceiling all night, his little head buried deep in the pillow, blaming himself for causing trouble for his nephew. Ha and Mr. The little girl was extremely regretful. If she had known, she should not have come here. Just as she was about to leave, the door to the room suddenly opened. Thank you for watching and see you again. She covered her tears, but the pillow soaked with tears betrayed her. Her father looked on with pity, gently comforting his daughter. That there was no need to worry, they would definitely protect TL. But what TL was worried about was not herself, but the Black Panther clan because of her. The little girl was caught up in danger. Her maturity beyond her years made her father even more heartbroken. Father's stubborn comfort. Since mother and child passed away. The 3 generations, our whole family has been in pain, and you brought light back to this home. So you don't need to apologize. The father hugged his little daughter tightly. They were grateful for the appearance of the little snow leopard. Hearing that, TL immediately jumped into her father's arms. An unprecedented sense of security filled the little girl's heart, causing her to gradually fall asleep in her father's arms. But outside, if we have to be on guard against foreign enemies, we have to be even more wary of our fellow snow leopards. They have been monitoring our every move for a long time. Of the Black Panther family, and 4 other great families. Among them, the Water family was exterminated, while the Feng Shui family sided with the Black Panther family. So, just a child. The remaining 3 races should be enough to deal with, right? But unfortunately, they hated letting their unlucky ball go. He got lost in the Black Press House, and then awakened his powers. If I had known, I would have locked him up since he was little. My grandfather was so angry that he gritted his teeth. The person next to him wanted to speak up to advise him, but he immediately waved his hand and pushed him away. "Get lost," he shouted. Compared to Lena, she was nothing. Dee led him to turn around and leave, muttering, "Isn't she just a useless brat?" Her heart was filled with sorrow. "I hate that hybrid more and more. I'll show you soon." Dee thought to herself, the day of the Crown Prince's birthday party has finally come. TL has mobilized all the chefs in the house to prepare a sumptuous feast. Waiting for Ian Foddy's appearance at this time. Without a trace of jealousy, he will not give his sister. He will not give his sister. I knew I had told the chef not to touch Ian's food. My cousin didn't care, and just stuffed the food into her mouth. Rudian was by my side. Can couldn't help but jokingly ask Olivia if she could be a little more polite. But before she could finish her sentence, her cousin swallowed her whole. She said too much. After a while of joking around, the prince pushed the door open and entered. Keel was the first to run over to wish him a happy birthday. Ian looked at him gratefully when Little Snow Leopard said that he has been safe and sound lately, and has even begun to grasp how to control the power of light. Little Anne gently stroked the pepper's head, full of satisfaction. As for Foe, his face was expressionless. The character was unbearable. The cousin immediately took the opportunity to tease. "Oh my, someone is worried that their sister will be taken away. How childish. The person TL is closest to is Ms. Ko." Hearing that, Foddy pulled a chair and motioned for TL to sit next to him. But Tai was not willing to be outdone. He also pulled out a chair to invite Tiu. "What? I clearly invited him first. I went to complain. But I was the main character of the party today." Ian smiled and replied. One sentence had absolute dominance. In the end, Tiu obediently sat next to Yan. Right after that, the Crown Prince took out a seemingly ordinary gift. Rudian seemed unconvinced. "You're not planning on taking this in place of TL's ceremonial clothes, are you?" "Of course not," Ian replied. TL quickly opened the gift box. A stream of cool air immediately rushed out, extinguishing it. The heat was making her uncomfortable. Foddy was stunned. This was the cold air from the ice field. It was a rare snowflake that had been seen for 1,000 years. Can reduce the body temperature of the person carrying it. Ian was very pleased. This kind of small thing is given to me by many people. The national treasury was still full, but it clearly suited TL very well. As soon as it was touched, TL's small body immediately turned into a tablet form. Snow Leopard. The little girl had never felt so comfortable, rolling around happily on the dining table, completely free from the sweltering heat. Her brothers and sisters would not change. The sister sitting next to her could only smile awkwardly, while Ian was as calm as if nothing had happened. His demeanor was overwhelming. How could those supporting roles compare to him? After enjoying the cool feeling, the little snow leopard quickly returned to human form. The little girl happily announced that she had also prepared a gift for Ian. It was just a bit unexpected. Convenient to bring out right away. As she spoke, the little girl waddled along on her short legs to get the fruit. In the room, the atmosphere was jealous and difficult. Uncomfortable. TL's first gift was for that prince. Soon, TL pulled out a gift taller than himself. The horse shyly asked Ian to wait until he got home before opening it. At that moment, the grandfather also quietly walked in. The grandfather had previously seen his beloved granddaughter holding a strange object. So he curiously went to see. When he opened the door, he saw only 3 people sitting there dejectedly. Arriving at the royal palace, the prince could not hide his excitement with the 2-meter-long gift. As soon as he opened it, he found another box inside. He opened it to the 2nd floor. From the 3rd floor to the 99th floor, he was both excited and confused until he was in class. Finally, a shining holy relic appeared. The prince picked up the attached instruction sheet and looked at it. It says, "Take it to a place where there is no light." His heart is shaken. Could it be that you want him to bring it to the secret space? That place has been covered in darkness since it appeared, without any bright light. Someday it will be possible to enlighten. However, carrying a glimmer of hope, he brought the little snow leopard's gift in. After a few rounds of probing, forbiddance, the prince sat down in a suitable position, placing the fruit on the floor. He was disappointed because it did not glow as expected. But at that moment, a bright light suddenly burst forth, illuminating the entire space. The crown prince couldn't help but be surprised. The little snow leopard's light ability was so strong that it wasn't swallowed by the darkness. He could even feel the little snow leopard's special aura in that light. Of course, young lady, this is the result of your 3 days and 3 nights of hard work. Even though the prince has all the material things, the only TL knew that space was filled with darkness and loneliness. The small snow bag was simply darkness, just hoping there would be a ray of light there. Unexpectedly, the effect was beyond expectation. The next day, on the appointed day, the royal designer personally came to the Black Panther clan to design a special ceremonial outfit for little Snow Leopard. Everyone was amazed. This designer has always served the royal family. So why is he coming to their house this time? The designer simply responded tactfully. Grandfather secretly speculated that the children must have taken advantage of the opportunity at the crown prince's birthday party to establish this relationship. Seeing the little snow leopard, the designer was immediately captivated. Her golden eyes and silver hair immediately aroused a lot of inspiration. Creative, she quickly asked her grandson what his favorite color was, and the little snow leopard did not hesitate to answer that yellow symbolized the glory of the family. If it could be combined with the brooch that the crown prince gave, that would be even better. The designer immediately understood. At this time, the grandfather immediately came in and urgently asked her to design a costume for her granddaughter's animal form. When TL transformed into a little leopard, the designer's heart almost melted. She immediately cancelled all schedules. Personally took on the design because I wanted to fully enjoy that soft and lovely look. She exclaimed, "How could there be such a cute creature in the world?" And she promised the costume would make the little snow leopard completely satisfied. In the following days, thanks to the devoted guidance of his cousin, the little snow leopard's studies progressed significantly. One day, the servant reported that the artists invited by the owner had arrived. Hearing this, the little snow leopard immediately obediently wanted to go see them, but was told that the artists would stay for 5 days, so there was no need to rush. Cousin Olivia heard it for 5 days and got excited. "Then I also want to draw a picture with her." At this time, Rudin was sleeping and turned on. "Wake up, can we get in line?" Foddy and I had to beg for a drawing spot. The next morning, the artists walked in neatly and approached the little snow leopard. The little girl was a little worried, but gently reassured by his father. "Don't be afraid, they just need to draw from many angles." After finishing, "We will choose a beautiful family picture to hang at the main gate, so the whole world knows that you are the pride of the Black Panther clan." The little snow leopard was moved to tears. Although she felt extremely encouraged, she still did not expect the artist to work hard on the painting for 4 days straight. To avoid affecting the painting, the little girl held her hands tightly, pursed her lips and tried to stay still, afraid of damaging the work. On the last day, she bravely woke up, and the servant brought the good news that the animal costume that the designer had prepared was complete. Not only the vegetable snow leopard version, there are also little bee snow leopard, sunflower snow leopard, and many other lovely styles. Although this is not a formal dress, when the little snow leopard wears it, it is so cute that everyone can't stand it. Luckily, thanks to the ice flower that Ian gave, after transforming into a beast, the little girl was no longer afraid of the heat like before. At this time, the Black Panther owner was also dressed neatly and waiting. Everyone was surprised. "Isn't it just the little snow leopard that has a schedule today? Could it be that he's preparing to come in too?" Unexpectedly, he chuckled with style. "Today I'm the little snow leopard's paw pad. Of course I have to dress up nicely." Everyone listened. "Isn't it just the little snow leopard that has a schedule? Could it be that he's preparing to come in too?" That's when I woke up. It's no wonder Grandpa went out to investigate today. And then, the little snow leopard appeared in its beastly state, making the whole room burst into laughter because of its cuteness. Today, she was sitting right on her grandfather's lap. "You won't be tired anymore." Rudian was very upset. He had planned to show off the painting at school, but when he found out that his grandfather also appeared in the painting, he immediately lost interest. At this time, her cousin Olivia had already planned to secretly pay triple the amount to have an artist draw her own little snow leopard. Somewhat dirty but extremely effective. Then bring up the terms of exchange, knowing right away that nothing good will come of it. "I'd rather give all the money. It's better to spend it on your sister. Give it to me." One sentence angered my cousin and caused Dudian to be beaten to the point of being flat on his back. So, Foddy had to accept the compromise. Unexpectedly, the designer sent hundreds of costumes later. They quickly spent all their savings. Then he took over the spotlight, standing in the center of every painting. Even the main role in the painting was taken over by him. Luckily, he achieved a special case. Oh, Foddy had secretly hidden away some clothes. Olivia had considered looking after them again tonight, but they had both stopped her from doing so. "I'll tell something just mentioned," Mom Olivia slipped her mind. "Tomorrow the family is coming to visit tonight. This is the first time back since the snow leopard cub's mother passed away. Lena's child really wants to see her soon. Cousin Oliver's whole family, Via, came to visit. While the two parents were talking, no one saw the younger sister anywhere. It turned out that the cousin had already taken the aunt to see her. Little snow leopard. Everyone knows, little snow leopard is really lovable." Tuong sighed softly. It had been a long time since he saw the Black Panther clan prosper like when Lena was alive. "Yes, it's all thanks to that child. He brought light and warmth to the whole family." At the same time, the aunt was walking hesitantly. She seemed a bit scared. The little girl doesn't understand, thinks everything is the same as her, and is a bit shy with strangers. She has a lot of experience in this area. She gathered all her courage, stepped forward and politely introduced herself. "My name is Little Snow Leopard." After hearing this, her hands trembled. Couldn't control himself. Gently caressed the little girl's small face. "Too similar, you really look like your mother." "Can't help it. You really look like your mother." He chopped down the little snow leopard, wanting to pour all his love into making up for the pain in his heart, and at the same time convey information on behalf of Lena. "I miss you so much. I never thought I would meet Lena's child. Thank God, thank you so much." When the emotions calm down, the little snow leopard will happily stay and play with me. Hearing that the whole family would be leaving in a few days, Olivia was startled. Did she have to go back too? "No, I won't. But you are the heir, you must return." Immediately after, the two people led the little snow leopard to a room that had not been opened for a long time. A place the little girl had never been to before. This was a surprise gift, so it had been cleaned beforehand. It was Lena's late mother's room. Even her father didn't dare to enter this place without permission. Auntie started searching, and finally, together, they took out a small shirt from the drawer and handed it to the little snow leopard. This was the shirt that Lena had knitted with her own hands when she was alive. She put all her heart into it. Even though she didn't spare a stitch, she still patiently adjusted every line, sewed the collar, just hoping. "I hope that the baby girl in my belly will be as beautiful as her, wearing a pretty dress and stepping out into the world. Yes, true love is possible. Will change a person." She recalled, that was the first time she saw Lena so confused. That woman who stood at the pinnacle of fame and power, willing to give up everything to be with the person he loves. Unfortunately, fate is too cruel. Lena clothes. Life in regret, not having time to meet the daughter that the old woman missed. She slept forever in that white snowy night, mother-daughter love. For her child, the love she had for him was so great that it could even be exchanged for her life. The small blizzard was silent. She remembered when she lived in the blizzard territory. Many times she sneaked into her grandfather's room to look at her mother's paintings. But every time she did, she kept her head down, only daring to use the corner of her eyes to look at him, to glance at the lines in her memory. Even though her father said it wasn't her fault, but she still couldn't forgive herself. The pain was always there in her heart. Was her birth a mistake? Until she heard what he said. The knot in her heart was finally untied. Tears silently fell. She was truly grateful to all the loved ones who loved her. It turned out, Mum too. She always loves her, passionately and deeply. Ever since their cousin's family moved to the Black Panther territory, the two older brothers have been kept an eye on. The two boys are extremely scared. Even more terrifying than the feeling of being lifted up into the sky before. Both of them had severe acrophobia. What else? Just found out. Next week, Snow White's family will go to the capital to stay in Temp, immediately generously offering to provide all necessary supplies. But little Snow White's father has already brought the paper to Black White. Tactfully refused. The villa is being renovated. Don't worry. However, all the other noble families will also temporarily gather. Tung returned to the capital, making the little snow leopard feel confused, wanting her little paw to fold up the hem of her skirt. The little girl already knew that the situation between the tribes was extremely tense, and the clans that opposed the Black Panthers will certainly appear as well. Now that she is a member of the Black Panther clan, she is forced to see them as her own enemies. But thinking about how her cousin's family was always on her side, her worried face immediately became stiff, full of determination. I must prove my ability to everyone to get a moment. That brave carving just happened to catch my aunt's eye. I gently stroked her head, feeling extremely adorable. The three of us also met in the capital. As soon as it was mentioned, Dee immediately became excited. But the father standing next to him suddenly felt uneasy. That year, when the capital held a social event, the little snow leopard's mother, who was only 6 years old at the time, knocked Cassius, who was 2 years older than her, to the ground on the spot and beat him up. Unfortunately, Cassius didn't put up any resistance and was just beaten by the genius. The little one was beaten to a pulp. It was this fateful encounter that kept them entangled with each other ever since. 3 years later, Lena was still as strong as ever, meeting Cassius for the second time. Still couldn't help but tremble because the other person had said he wanted to leave teeth marks on his body. In his heart, the teenager could only scream in panic and confusion. So, Cassius was chased by Lena through 300 streets. The embarrassing story was brought up. Out in broad daylight, Cassius's face turned red then pale, not knowing where to hide. It turned out that Mom was such a wild person. 3 days later, when it was time for her cousin's family to leave, Olivia burst into tears because she couldn't bear to part. She had to remember her sister. Of course, don't worry. Watching the carriage gradually disappear, the little snow leopard felt a little sad. But in the corner of the yard, the 2 brothers were jumping up and down, cheering and clapping excitedly. Looking at his daughter's affectionate expression, the father gently comforted her. "It's okay. We'll see each other again in a few days." When the family returned to the villa, the father said he had prepared a small gift for the little snow leopard, which was in the room. Hearing that, the little girl immediately ran over to see, and discovered that it was a painting of a mother and daughter. The painting was specially commissioned by the artist, thinking that her little daughter would definitely like it. But Cassius didn't expect that at this moment the little snow leopard's eyes were filled with tears. "Thank you, Father." At night, the little girl hugged the photo with her mother tightly, wanting to retreat into it again and again as if wanting to feel her mother's warmth. The little girl longed to fall asleep quickly so she could enjoy delicious food with her mother and spend happy moments with her father and brothers. But in a deep and dark place, someone's black blonde hair moved slightly. That person's eyes were soulless and empty, mouth whispering strange incantations. In an instant, a blood-red space gate suddenly appeared in the middle of nowhere, as if it was preparing to do something, or destroy something. That figure slowly walked in, leaving behind a terrifying premonition. What calamity will befall the little snow leopard? The long-awaited festival has finally arrived. The Black Leopard Villa in the capital has been completed, so magnificent and white that it makes the little snow leopard's mouth wide open. Even though the capital was very far away, but thanks to her cousin's family's wind control ability, the whole group arrived in just 1 day. When she heard that her father had specially prepared a room for her, the little snow leopard happily brought her small luggage. Inside were not only her mother's photo, her cousin's exercise book, but also a bunch of snacks because she was a gluttonous kitten. The room is bright pink, lovely, but no less luxurious, breathtakingly beautiful. In particular, the little girl's favorite toys were also complete, making the little snow leopard fascinated and unable to put them down. Unexpectedly, because she was too excited, her light ability suddenly emitted, making the whole room as bright as day. This made the little girl extremely frightened. She didn't want to remember the story of her evil grandfather anymore. Since leaving the temple, she had become a man. He discovered that his ability seemed to have changed. The blinding golden light was now always active, flexible movement throughout the body, bringing unprecedented powerful energy. At that time, the butler hurriedly came to report that the crown prince had come to visit the villa. As soon as they heard this, the 2 elder brothers' expressions changed. This guy came again? That guy was like a lingering ghost, just coming again. Immediately followed. Meanwhile, the little snow leopard heard that Ian was coming to find him, and was so happy that his soul flew away. Suddenly, even the source of supernatural power surrounding the little snow leopard's body suddenly disappeared. At the same time, Crown Prince Ian was sitting in the room, his face full of sorrow. The Emperor's constant pressure to marry gave him a huge headache. He really didn't want to randomly choose someone and sacrifice their happiness, just to lift the curse on him. That sensitive topic made the deputy officer quietly retreat. But what made Ian even more worried was the recent times. His private space was covered by a strange black aura. While wondering what was going on, a familiar voice rang out from outside. It turned out that the little snow leopard had arrived. As soon as he saw the little girl, Ian's gloomy eyes suddenly lit up, and the little snow leopard happily ran over. But when he heard Ian mention spring, the gift that Teal had given her, her eyes immediately widened with malice. Before she could react, she was so embarrassed that she turned into a baby leopard and tried to hide somewhere. Her small head lowered, her face flushed red, she stuttered. I was afraid you wouldn't like it, so I'm quiet. Gently hugged that soft body, said in a gentle voice. There's no such thing. Thanks to you, my subspace has become much brighter. He really liked this gift. Hearing this, the little snow leopard was overjoyed. Strangely, the moment she left Ian's hand, the gloomy aura around him also disappeared. Could it be related to his ability? However, behind the door, the two brothers and sister had been quietly observing for a while and were extremely unhappy. That guy clearly had bad intentions. What's with him hugging her while talking? Foddy was angry and immediately shouted, Go back. The next morning, everything came, and he carefully brought all the necessary items for the little snow leopard's party. He was really thoughtful. After a few greetings, they made an appointment to meet at the party. When he was really thoughtful, they made an appointment to meet at the party. Father stepped closer. Cassius's eyes fell on his daughter in her gorgeous gown. The moment had finally come. The little girl was now fearless, not the least bit hesitant in the face of others' wary eyes. She was proud, confident, and spread out like a wash of light. Like the dark night, the father's eyes became determined, his gaze filled with pride. Let's go, the father said, his gaze determined. Let me announce to the world that you are the only daughter of the Black Panther clan. The gala celebration officially begins. The nobles poured into the capital in long lines, but the most prominent were still the 5 great clans with powerful influence. Amidst their bustling cheers, the Black Panther family appeared first, and the grandfather's aura became extremely strong at this time, because today they must protect the only bright star of the Black Panther family. When the little snow leopard appeared in a white dress, the whole stadium exploded. The little girl was so nervous that she was sweating. Ho ho, Rudin kept cheering. If anyone dares to speak ill of you, I will burn them with fire. No way, you will be an umbrella again. It's messed up. Foddy quickly stopped them. The sound of her 2 brothers arguing warmed her heart. When she turned her head to look back, she saw her cousin waving at her. Teal immediately responded with a bright smile. But then, several of them stopped. The familiar figure that appeared made the little girl shiver. What was it? Rowan and his grandfather from the Snow Leopard clan. The painful memories came back like waves, and her heart ached again. Fortunately, Foddy appeared in time. Theen hugged his sister tightly. He was here. Those words seemed to give her courage, making her eyes wide open in fear soften. At this moment, the trumpet sounded. The Emperor and the Crown Prince arrived. The festive atmosphere reached its climax. With a thud, subscribe to the channel to receive more new videos. For the gods and I have summoned the messenger of light, the little snow leopard, to the altar. The sudden introduction made grandfather extremely worried, but father appeared calm. Cassius put his hand on his father's shoulder, reassuring him, now only able to keep his spirits up. Then Cassius and his daughter stepped onto the stage. The Emperor does not beat around the bush. Now I hold the power of light. So at this sacred moment, let me open the festival. Let me open the festival. All eyes of the Empire are on you. Show your talent, starting from that divine light. Let this ceremony shine. For the gods. The cryptic statement left the Snow Leopard clan confused but unable to refute. At that moment, the ceremony began. A brilliant light enveloped the entire square. The 5 great clans offered their power one after another. The 5 elements gathered, merging with the light ability of the little snow leopard. A silvery golden carp swam among the elemental dwarfs, surprising everyone. Finally, it turned into a brilliant fireworks display, lighting up the entire night sky of the empire. The emperor declared, "Messenger of light, returned, this land will no longer be covered in darkness." The proclamation echoed throughout the square, as a glorious light opened up the empire's night. The festival officially began in an explosion of joy. The splendid scene made everyone's heart burn with excitement. However, on one side, Ian felt uneasy. The emperor had focused all public opinion on the little snow leopard, making it impossible for Ian to stand still. Made her the center of attention of the entire empire. That made Ian worried about her. After the festival ended, the little snow leopard, so exhausted that he transformed back into his animal form, his soft fur ruffled, his body exhausted as he collapsed. Seeing that, his cousin came in, extremely sad but also truly happy for my sister, because the recent event is clear proof of the snow leopard's ability. The little one has made great progress, not only being respected by the emperor, but also recognized by the entire empire. Again, Rowan of the Snow Leopard clan was not satisfied. The little snow leopard was surprised to see that Rowan was jealous of him. Obviously, Rowan was jealous of him before. Now they looked down on her. Everyone thought she was no match for our sister. The more they thought about it, the more they gloated. When it was known that the Black Panther family had cut off the Snow Leopard family's financial resources, the brilliant light that night made the entire population admire and praised endlessly. But on the other hand, negative rumors also spread silently. Someone started, criticized that the Black Panther clan is too greedy, that adopting a snow leopard cub is just to dispel the curse of violence. I am worse. Someone discovered that the ceremonial outfit the little snow leopard was wearing bore the mark of a royal designer, who only served the royal family. With the identity of a Black Panther, this is impossible, unless the little snow leopard is the future crown princess. The next day, the capital was still filled with a festive atmosphere. The cousin wanted to take the little snow leopard out to play, so she cleverly disguised her as a cute cabbage. From inside the rolled-up fabric, a tiny head emerged, making Fuddy want to melt at its cuteness. "This outfit looks familiar. Did you get it from our house again?" she asked. "It doesn't care about all that because of our lovely little sister." But even though they were disguised, their special identities were quickly noticed by the people. There were also a few men in the crowd. But even though they were disguised, their special identities were quickly noticed by the people. There was a mysterious man secretly following. It turned out that he was Cassus, the father who was worried about the safety of the little snow leopard. SOS hid in the dark, silently observing everywhere. But when he saw the little snow leopard eagerly eating marshmallow, his mouth couldn't close. Again, his heart was like being shot by his daughter's cuteness. Every adorable action of the little snow leopard made Cassius feel a surge of affection. This time it really was worth it. Rudian intended to help his sister toast the marshmallow to make it a little crispy. Who would have thought that his skill was so bad that he burned it all? Just then, a strange man approached and curiously asked the lovely girl in his arms if she was the daughter of the Black Panther family. The cousin couldn't help but be excited. Olivia didn't expect that her genius disguise skills would be seen through. The other person continued, "Can I give this gift to the little girl?" The first time a fan gave him a gift, the little snow leopard blushed with embarrassment and didn't have time to react. Then the crowd around immediately surrounded. Everyone brought food to donate. Rudian hugged the pile of food. Chun's arms almost broke. "Little sister, Am I that famous? After the festival, the little snow leopard was seen by the people as a blessing from the gods, a light that shines on the empire. Those compliments made the little girl embarrassed. Before she could recover, a fierce voice rang out. I didn't. Because the younger sister was insulted. Her anger flared up and she almost rushed up to beat him up. But before she could do anything, she was shot. Duke Ike hit his son's head with a thunderous blow, leaving the two Black Panther brothers frozen. Is he really his biological father to act like that? This idiot still doesn't apologize quickly, the Duke scolded. The son's face was distorted, but he stubbornly refused to give in. Reluctantly, Duke Ike Dixon apologized to the little snow leopard, but his eyes revealed an unkind calculation. The little snow leopard was timid and scared. Foddy immediately blocked in front of him, waving his hand decisively. Caught, daring to bully the only princess of the Black Panther. This matter cannot be let go easily. It turned out that Duke Ike had secretly plotted for a long time. He had his eyes on the powerful abilities of the little snow leopard and even guessed it. She could become the successor of the Black Panther family. If he could force his son to have a relationship with her now, not only would he consolidate his power, and also grasp the weakness of the Black Panther family. Thinking of this, Duke Ike was secretly happy, preparing to embark on the perfect plan. But he did not know. A figure had been standing behind him for a long time. The little snow leopard's first trip was not smooth, because she encountered someone with bad intentions. Fortunately, her father appeared in time. His cold eyes made the whole atmosphere freeze. Come. The Duke opposite was so scared that he stammered, and quickly explained that he was just passing by and playing around. I clearly heard you say you wanted to take my daughter away. What do you mean? Her father asked coldly. The Duke was trembling like a leaf, only knowing that she was my daughter. Les bowed head stuttering. Foddy stood to one side with his lips pursed. Such a cheap lie could also be made up. Unexpectedly, my father smiled gently, turned around and said, Remember to wash your hands when you get home. Don't show off too many germs. If you show off, I will immediately follow suit. Yes, father. Because after that, it will definitely be very cruel. I heard that he liked to joke around, but I didn't know what to do. Now it's my turn to joke with you a little. Cassius's eyes were sharp like a hunting beast's, making the Duke want to disappear immediately. On the way back, Rudian was surprised. Why did Dad come here? But it didn't matter. The bad guy was scared away. The little snow leopard suddenly used his body, feeling that there was something unusual in the air. But the feeling in the air couldn't be used. It flashed by and then disappeared, leaving confusion in the little girl's heart. The following month, little snow leopard dressed up again to attend the event, where the center was a majestic tower, a symbol of the power of the clans. The competition that day was only for the heir, and the representative of the Black Leopard family was Foddy. Little Snow Leopard was a little worried, but did not know what he could do. But Vu Dian didn't care much. Don't worry. Last time he was the champion. And this time TL was by his side. Fo Dian's ability. Going will not lose control like before. As soon as he heard that he could help his brother, Teal's small face kept telling him. When the contestants walked out one by one, an ICKE member who had just appeared turned pale with fear, leaving TL and Rudian bewildered and confused. What did you do to them yesterday, Dad? It was just a little joke, Dad said calmly. Rudian immediately exclaimed as if he had just realized something. Immediately after, a girl with pink hair and emerald eyes appeared, radiant like a small flower in full bloom. Cousin Olivia rushed over to hug the other person tightly as soon as she arrived. Seeing such close friends of the same age, TL couldn't help but admire them. At that time, Rowan, the snow reporter representative, quietly stepped forward. He was only 7 years old but had already participated, making everyone feel sorry. Fever horn. Remember that Foddy had to be 8 years old to compete. Everyone remembers Lena's miracle at 6 years old, suspecting that the snow leopard was plotting something. Rowan's eyes always followed the crown prince. Her eyes sparkled as if imagining the future. She was a worthy heir, is the candidate for crown prince's consort, and will be his future wife. If it weren't for the fact that that little girl lived near the capital, the one who would have made the crown prince's heart flutter would definitely have been me. So, Rowan changed direction, walking straight towards the crown prince, causing the entire snow leopard to be stunned. She confidently introduced herself and confessed her love frankly. But the crown prince was cold and indifferent. Teacher Rian did not react. Rowan became even bolder, grabbed his hand, and declared that he agreed to marry you. This sentence angered Ian to the point of extreme pain. He jerked his hand back. His green eyes flashed with anger that could not be offended. Coldly replied, "Who are you?" Then turned around and left, not forgetting to blame Foddy. Foddy could only show his helplessness. The competition officially begins, this time hosted by the Crown Prince. Ian announces that the prize for the winner is any wish. When he raised his hand to signal, the contestants' abilities exploded, and the competition began. Foddy had calculated carefully and decided to give TL a special joy. The match was intense. The contestants had to pass through many layers of barriers to reach the top of the tower, the highest place. To do it, they had to summon their own spirit beasts. Whoever reached first would be the champion. The signal sounded and 5 beasts came up. Spirit beasts of different colors rushed out. The scene was extremely intense. Everyone wanted to win. Meanwhile, Rudian was extremely calm, because he knew no one would dare to touch Ferdy, because he was the absolute champion last time. Overwhelming power over the entire field. As expected, Ferdy's spirit beast was the first to break through the barrier, taking the spotlight when made her cousin Olivia standing on the side feel jealous. However, Olivia was not discouraged, controlled her spirit beast and continued to fight. Seeing the 2 leaders were her brother Ferdy and cousin Olivia, TL was overjoyed. Even the audience outside the stadium was completely attracted. In contrast to the aura of the Black Panther, today was a tragedy for the snow reporters. Rowan's performance was pathetic. Since Lena, the snow reporters, even though they are a branch, their newspaper had already declined severely, causing everyone to gossip about their weakness and decline. Hearing those words, the head of the snow newspaper was boiling with anger, and he was angry at Rowan's mother, shouting loudly, "What kind of teacher do you usually have?" Fortunately, after a while of struggling, Rowan barely managed to pass the 2nd level. But before he could catch his breath, his hair, Pink Peeling made another mistake, causing 2 other contestants behind to collide and fall off the track. The angry ICKE police officer used the vine magic to tie up the pink hair and the familiar, causing the familiar to collapse completely, with no hope. Just started up but suddenly went out. In the end, she only ranked 5th. As expected, Ferdy ranked 1st. 2nd place went to cousin Olivia. According to the rules, the champion would be granted a wish by the royal family. Foddy did not hesitate to ask for the snow reporter's original snowflake. It turned out that Foddy had planned it all along. Ian had previously given TL a snowflake, which she loved. As the eldest brother, Foddy could not afford to lose like that. "You give me 1 flower. I'll give you a bunch," Foddy happily declared, wanting to prove that he is the only one who loves his sister the most. This sentence made the Snow Leopard clan leader so angry that he couldn't sit still. He jumped up and shouted, "Black Panther! What's the use of taking those things?" Foddy calmly replied, Who says it's not useful? I'll give it to my lovely sister. Hearing this sentence, his face turned red with emotion. Even though the ice flower was limited, Ferdy still got a part in the end, making Rowan extremely angry. She couldn't believe it. Saving a treasure that even he couldn't get easily fell into the hands of a low-class hybrid. Her absurd and insulting words stunned everyone. The village chief immediately scolded Rowan, still bowing her head to apologize on behalf of her niece. She suppressed her anger and followed the Crown Prince's decision. However, Ian just coldly snorted, not bothering to reply, because someone had just stepped on his reverse scale. As soon as the festival and competition ended, her father immediately took Teal back to the villa. As soon as she arrived, she ran to hug Ferdy in celebration. The older brother always thinks of his younger sister first, because he knows that summer is coming, so Ferdy wants to use the reward to exchange for a lot of snowflakes, just to make TL feel a little cooler and happier. TL is still touched until now, but this was the first time TL saw his grandfather angry with Rowan. He couldn't help but worry that she would be punished like he had been. That innocent and kind heart moved her cousin Olivia, who thought to herself, how could there be such a lovely and kind younger sister? Well, the runner-up has arrived. Rudian still maintains his classic teasing style. Cousin Olivia, so angry that the river came and wanted to swallow him alive. Be careful. If you want to say something, then say it. However, of course, Ferdy felt something was wrong. Prince Ian's condition seemed unusual today. As soon as he heard Ian's name, TL immediately became worried. The next day, later, the children gathered to drink and have fun in front of the villa gate. Cassius helplessly gave instructions, and the children gathered to drink and have fun again. Be good. There's been too much going on lately. After the competition, Cousin Olivia clung to the little snow leopard even more, hugging and rubbing it all day, considering it as a reward for her second place. So cute, she couldn't stop exclaiming. Ferdy was extremely jealous, knowing that I would have tried to come in second. When everyone was about to go inside, the butler suddenly called out to them. It turned out to be the Crown Prince's deputy who came, holding a package like a present in his hand. He apologized for the sudden visit, and the group immediately. Something felt wrong. But when the red cloth was lifted, a baby lion appeared, surprising the group. The two brothers saw this and started teasing. Is this really the Crown Prince? What a coward! The whole group kept talking. Nan could only smile awkwardly, explaining that he had to sneak out because the Emperor had grounded him, leaving the children surprised and not understanding what was going on. Only, there was a small snowbag still drizzling. His mind was still thinking about Ian's super eye-catching wagging tail. Immediately after, Ian opened the toy package in hand, but only they and the others did not notice anything strange. Only TL discovered an abnormality. Even the carp's light also automatically alerted. More surprisingly, a pitch-black hand appeared in front of him. The familiar strange aura made the golden carp feel uneasy, to the point of anger. The scary thing is that only Ian and Teal can see that black letter. Actually, Ian discovered that his ability was malfunctioning since the festival began, and the secret space also became abnormal. The Emperor learned that, in order to avoid panic, he reduced the guards and forbade Ian from leaving the palace. At that moment, the doctor began to begin. TL couldn't help but recall the familiar feeling. The two brothers immediately worried that their sister would be in danger. It turned out that when they were walking on the street last time, that black aura had passed by, and at that time TL had used it. Then he remembered. The aura was exactly the same. The situation is getting worse and worse. There must be a mysterious force lurking behind it. Even though he was the Crown Prince, Ian did not make his enemies afraid, which showed that the conspiracy behind it was not small. If the other party really wanted to deceive, then the festival could be interrupted. Everyone would fall into chaos, and the consequences would be difficult to control. After being found, Ian found a man. Confirming that, Ian became more certain of his suspicions. Therefore, the best way now was for him to obediently return to the royal palace. To not endanger the festival as well as ensure the safety of TL and everyone. TL was about to advise Ian. But Ian's tentative words were interrupted. He reached out to stroke this kind child's head, but pulled back and said, "It's okay. Don't worry about me." After saying that, Ian sat on the adjutant's back, turned his head and waved goodbye to everyone. TL still couldn't bear to look away. His eyes were full of worry. Right at that moment, the sound of knocking. The door rang. The maid entered to convey the master's message, inviting everyone to dinner. The sudden meal in the middle of a busy festival made everyone hesitate. Could it be that there was something else hidden in this gathering? Cousin Olivia just heard about the delicious food. Her mouth almost watered, she was so happy. But in the frame, in that normal scene, is Dang Sao the beginning of a great disaster to come? The whole family had gathered for dinner. Although the feast was prepared very lavishly, his tired and exhausted appearance was completely. The table was in contrast to the atmosphere. Everyone began to wonder what was so serious that he still decided to hold this party when he had already put in so much effort. Throughout the whole session, his sighs did not stop. The eldest brother was curious but did not dare to ask. In fact, it was because of his beloved granddaughter. He had been traveling around for several days, especially when the emperor secretly praised TL's performance at the festival. That could be interpreted as nominating her as the crown princess, and thus becoming a huge burden for TL. Grandfather had come to see TL 5 times. The emperor's pair, but were both rejected. Thinking of this, his eyes became resolute. He had clearly made an important decision. Meanwhile, Cousin Olivia was leisurely enjoying the delicious food on the table. It was said that consecutively ranking second was a rare achievement in the family. Olivia's father is also proud of his daughter's achievements. He said that Olivia's achievements could even be in the Wolf Tribe's newspaper. Rudy was annoyed. What's so bad about being in the newspaper? You want to get punched again, they're just not merciful. But then, Tiu noticed his serious expression and couldn't help but worry. Was it because of that matter? The father immediately realized that his daughter had something on her mind. So he immediately asked her. Because the dark aura was too strong. Even Ian, the crown prince, had been affected. If her family was also implicated, it would be unacceptable. Maybe she should tell her father clearly so they could have strength. Preparation. At night, Cousin Olivia was still angry every time she thought about the black gas. That thing not only harmed TL but also caused the whole group to be grounded. TL felt that her cousin seemed unhappy. Maybe it was because she didn't have her two brothers who were always arguing beside her. Finally, the bedroom was quiet. But the next second, say damn it, thou arrived. Foddy brought Rudy in his animal form and ran in. Seeing his cousin in TL's bedroom, he was not happy at all. What are you doing here? Still wearing pajamas? My cousin already had a reason. She was here to protect TL, which sounded quite reasonable. Rudian was so angry that his face turned black. But TL was happy. She had long wanted to sleep with her brothers and sisters. The two brothers were both happy and excited when they heard their sister agree. The cousins secretly disapproved. At first TL was worried but thought about having a relative by her side at night. The children were completely at ease. When everyone was talking and mentioning the final fireworks display of the festival, TL was very curious. Hearing that, said that those were fireworks that the temple had been making for 3 years, very beautiful and magnificent. As soon as she heard that, The cousin immediately realized that she had misspoken. The whole group was banned from going out. But TL accidentally realized that everyone was looking forward to seeing the fireworks display. Thinking about it, the little girl couldn't help but feel sad when she was the reason why everyone couldn't go. The atmosphere in the room became awkward. Olivia clapped her hands, broke the silence, and took the initiative to change the topic. Rudian cooperated very well and started telling the story of his participation in tug-of-war. Cousin, because it was truly the most ridiculous story he had ever heard. But TL burst out laughing happily. It turns out that as long as you have family by your side, even the smallest things can become joy. In the warm laughter, the children fell asleep. The following month, TL was sitting writing her homework as usual when her father called her out. The little girl was surprised. Wasn't she forbidden from going out? It turned out that Cassius had already thought of a way. That was the first time in TL's life that she had seen fireworks. No matter what, she couldn't let her daughter miss it. In the afternoon, TL changed into a gorgeous outfit, smiling brightly. To prepare for this time leaving home, the Black Panther clan hired a port, assigned guards to protect it, and did everything properly. Just for one person. TL knew this and was very touched. Olivia also came, preparing the Wolf clan's super luxury yacht for her. This made the little snow leopard's little ears stand up straight with joy. So cute that she wanted to melt. Foddy was waiting on the deck. Politely extend your hand. Get on the boat, our little princess. In that moment, TL felt a happiness that she had never felt before. When everyone had. Printed on the boat, the wind power was used. The air gathered and gently pushed the boat to glide across the lake. The brilliant sunset reflected on the shimmering water, the lights adding to the magical look. TL began to eagerly wait for the fireworks to light up. TL saw the first fireworks display in his life. The whole sky was lit up, like flowers of light in the galaxy. Although not as grand as a national festival, for the little girl, that moment was full of joy. Happy, so beautiful, right? Looking at TL happily, everyone smiled brightly. It is rumored that Fong, the floral shirt, contains wishes and faith in the gods. Its light carries sacred hope, hoping to dispel the darkness and bring peace. However, amidst that splendid light, TU still feels a bit regretful for the mountains. If only Ian were here. I wonder how he is doing now. Teal was still lost in thought when she was suddenly. Cousin Olivia was startled. Her chubby face suddenly felt itchy. It turned out to be because of the gift her cousin had carefully prepared. It is a special feather that combines Anne's vine power and Olivia's wind power. If in danger, it will help. The little girl flew up into the air. Rudian was startled when he heard that. Then he asked worriedly, "Are you going to blow TL up into the sky? It's dangerous. Do that." Olivia laughed reassuringly. Of course, this can't control the direction of flight. For example, if it flies out. It would be fun to go behind Rudian and kick his ass. Olivia had calculated that the combination of vines and wind would do the trick. Covers the entire body TL, absolutely safe. Just that this is a one-time use only, so it should only be used when absolutely necessary. Foddy was surprised after hearing that. He didn't hesitate to praise her. He didn't expect her to be a thinking creature. Rudian was equally surprised. Olivia was angry. Hey, is this how you praise someone? They started to remember the time TL was in danger. It was when the little girl recklessly rushed into the fire to save Foddy. Foddy deeply reflected on himself, only to hear that TL was almost burned and was shocked. She was so shocked that she asked right away, "Aren't you scared?" TL recalled the scene of the raging fire, even though she was very scared at that time. But for her brother's safety, she did not chase after him. She spoke the truth. Saying she was not afraid would be a lie. But even if her tail was burned like cotton candy, she would still do it. Her foolish yet courageous words made her cousin both amused and scared. Exit. Immediately hug the little girl to comfort. Rudian rarely agrees with his cousin, also speaks up in agreement, later not allowing Ferdinand. Go closer to Teal. Did you eat the wrong medicine today, Rudian? Foddy is crying and laughing now. But actually, since you ate the wrong medicine, you ate the wrong medicine. Since then, he has been secretly researching a lot. For many nights in a row, Ferdy used Teal's fur as a sample for research and discovered something strange. Strangely, his fire couldn't harm the girl. Foddy thought that perhaps the light energy in Teal's body had lifted some kind of curse. Although he didn't know the reason, he was sure that his power didn't hurt the little girl. Perhaps his existence, his power, it was to protect TL. The emotional confession made TL extremely emotional. After a series of words, TL was completely won over by Ferdy, making Rudian and Olivia jealous. Who wouldn't want to do that? From the beginning, the master had judged. They really shouldn't let their little sister face any danger. Foddy could no longer say anything. In the dark of night, the wind, the brilliant flowers bloomed in the starry sky, creating a beautiful scene that moved Tiu. The lights brought faith and happiness. She silently thanked God for saving her in a dangerous moment, and at the same time sincerely prayed that the light would save the crown prince who was in danger. 3 days passed. The imperial festival was about to end. Fortunately, during this time, no incidents happened for long. The situation seemed to have stabilized. However, it was safer to leave now that the festival was over. When TL saw Ian's figure in the distance, she finally breathed a sigh of relief. However, at that moment, a faint black aura spread out around Ian. Foddy thought that his sister was not feeling well, so he tried to comfort her and suggested that after the ceremony was over, he would take her to see Ian. Meanwhile, the emperor stepped onto the stage to give his speech, causing the atmosphere below the stage to become lively. Cheers resounding throughout the square. But the audience, extremely nervous, the little girl was afraid that she would be called up to the stage again. She noticed Rowan standing beside her with his head bowed, not saying a word. Words. Perhaps she was severely reprimanded. Suddenly, a black aura erupted violently. The father immediately hugged his daughter tightly to shield her. Behind, in an instant, the entire stadium fell into chaos and panic. Every ray of light and shadow of traffic. Flowers made the atmosphere more suffocating. A space as dark as an abyss suddenly reigns. And the crown prince completely fell into a state of emaciation. A deadly black aura covered the entire festival. Fortunately, the great families intervened in time, joining forces to set up a protective barrier. Rudin did not understand why the crown prince acted like that, but Fodian had already made an assessment. Then it was predictable. What was happening to Ian was very similar to the curse he had suffered. From there, it was evident that someone was pulling the strings behind everything. The black fire began. Burning everything, the father hugged the flute tightly to his chest. The breath of the abyss became more and more distinct. A black and red dimension continued to expand, one by one being swallowed. Terrifying energy erupted, all emitted from the body of the will. Ian. He had no life, no expression. TL felt a strong sense of unease well up. She understood better than anyone that even Ian was being gradually swallowed by that darkness. And she knew, as the inheritor of the light ability, is the representative of the gods. If even light cannot save, then the empire will sink into destruction. If she still does not act, then her relatives and friends will all leave her just like her mother left. No, she can't let them get hurt. It's even harder. Ian couldn't be lost forever. At that critical moment, the light energy in TL's body seemed to sense her urgent call. Immediately after, the golden carp appeared amidst the magical flames, quietly waiting for orders from its master. But at this moment, father held the flute tightly. Cassius worried about his daughter more than anyone, afraid that she would be hurt, even by the slightest scratch. However, the situation was completely out of control. Zhao's heart was torn apart. Even though she really wanted to listen to her father, she clearly knew that she couldn't. There was no other choice. TL decisively took out the treasure that his cousin had given him, resolutely escaped from his father's arms and transformed into a human form. Snow Leopard, flying straight up into the sky. Sorry, father. Please believe me, I will definitely return safely to you. Even though her father was completely devastated, she was determined. Borrowing the power from the feather, she flew straight towards the black air. At this time, Ian had already lost consciousness, was being drawn into a strange space portal. In that life or death moment, a familiar voice rang out in his head. As if by fate, as well as by a chance encounter, the two were caught in a vortex of space with no known destination. At the same time, the black aura that had enveloped the festival suddenly disappeared. Only a closed space gate remained on the ground. Everyone was stunned by the strange sight. Even though the Emperor kept calling Ian's name, there was silence inside the gate. Not a single sound in response. For a moment later, Tiu slowly woke up from her deep sleep. She was shocked to realize that this place was completely different from her dark memories. Everything here was bright. Vividly, she used her small claws to shake Ian beside her. But he seemed to be stuck in a nightmare, completely motionless. Fortunately, he was still breathing. Just then, from outside the door, she heard footsteps. She quickly ran to hide in a hidden place to observe. A man's voice rang out, full of pleading and helplessness. Please come back. Your Majesty, you have clearly looked through the books of the Ministry of Finance. Please do not be stubborn. But the Emperor replied firmly. Snow, the man replied. No matter what you say, I will not change my mind. Can't be calm again. In the middle of the two arguing, Bao Chuet suddenly recognized the young emperor in front of her, younger than in her memory, and the person opposite looked exactly like Ian.